Welcome to Toastmaster Time, the show that has everybody talking. Just like in a regular Toastmaster meeting, we have prepared speeches and we have an evaluator. I'm Justin Mendez and I'll be your host, but let me talk a little bit about our evaluator, James Jeffley. James, tell us what kind of show we have in store tonight.
Justin, we have a wonderful show planned. We have two outstanding speakers, Dave Orris and Trich Gray. Dave is going to inspire us, and Trich is going to demonstrate effective use of body language.
Thank you, James. I'm very much looking forward to hearing more of your comments later on in the show, but for now, I'd like to welcome our first guest speaker, Dave Orris. Dave, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Justin. It's good to be here.
Great to have you. Dave, you've been in Toastmasters 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you could boil those years down and give us just one key principle to keep in mind to help our communication, what would that key principle be?
I would have to say remember the audience. It's all about the audience, not about the speaker. If you approach your speech with that in mind and give the audience something of value, you can't go wrong. Not only does that take the pressure off of you, but if you're not giving the audience something of value in the first place, you shouldn't be up there speaking.
Well put, well put. And tell me, was it the speaking or the leadership that originally led you to Toastmasters?
Keep in mind there were refreshments there too. So, but seriously, the speaking element. I was involved in a job that required me to speak to a lot of people in the first place, and I wanted to find a way that I could improve my communication skills, and I felt the Toastmasters would do that for me.
Great, and has it?
Absolutely.
Or else you wouldn't still be here.
There you go.
All right, Dave, what club are you from and when do you meet?
I'm a member of Capital Speakers Club 2080. We meet in Benicia, California, Wednesday evenings at 7:30.
Great. Are you ready to give your speech?
Absolutely.
Well, we're ready to hear it. I'm going to give you a moment to set up and get prepared. And while you're doing that, I'm going to talk to our audience at home about manual speeches.
Okay.
There are 17 manuals in the Toastmasters International Organization, and each prepared speech deals with a different project in a different manual. Let's hear a little bit about the project and the objectives for this project that Dave's working on from his evaluator, James Jeffley. James, welcome back.
Thank you, Justin. Dave is going to be speaking from the Competent Communicator Manual, and it's the 10th project speech, and it's all about inspiring the audience.
Very good. I'm ready to be inspired. Are you?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, with that, I'd like to introduce Dave Orris. What would you do? What would you do, Dave Orris?
When people notice my cane and dark glasses, they often ask me about blindness. And I realize now that many people don't really know what being blind means. I can't blame them because I didn't know either until I became legally blind. I used to think that being blind meant that you couldn't see anything. But now I know that being blind can mean that you just see less than, okay, a lot less than ordinary people. And maybe that makes me extraordinary. No, I doubt that you'd use that term to describe me if you saw me walking into walls and falling over chairs and tripping over curbs. It's only been a couple of years since I lost my eyesight, but I'll never forget my first visit to the Lions Center for the Blind, a wonderful organization offering services, solutions, and support for people who are visually challenged. There I was at 5 p.m. as the center was closing. Ahead of me out walked a man wearing dark glasses and carrying a long white cane. Now, I had not yet been trained in how to use that cane, and I felt that if I followed him from a distance, I could observe and pick up some tips on how to use it. And he seemed to be an expert. In fact, he was booking down the sidewalk. I could barely keep up with him. I watched him as he swept his cane from side to side in unison with his steps. As he approached an intersection, the light turned green, and an audible signal prompted him to cross the intersection. But as he did, he began to veer to his left, dangerously close to the passing vehicles. I tried to run so I could help him, but before I could do anything, other strangers in the area began to call out to him, saying, "Hey, you're walking too far to the left. Get over to the right." The blind man then smiled and waved his hand in thank you and corrected his path. Another man called out and said, "Hey, the curb is about 3 feet ahead." And again, the blind man smiled and waved in Thank you. And as I watched this whole episode unfold, I thought, wow, what a wonderful display of compassion as total strangers would rush to the aid of someone in obvious need. But then I thought, what would happen if you took away the cane and removed the dark glasses? Then what would the other people think about this man as he stumbled and weaved around the intersection? Maybe they'd think he was on drugs or just some downtown drunk. After all, it was happy hour. What would you think? Or more importantly, what would you do? Would you save him from the traffic, or would you throw him under the bus? Now, it's only been 2 years since I feel fortunate to have a disability that depends upon devices such as canes and dark glasses to indicate what it is I'm struggling with. But think about the millions of people that have invisible disabilities. We're talking here about people with brain damage or cognitive disorders such as hearing loss, tinnitus. How about ADHD and bipolar disorder? The list of invisible disabilities is extensive. A 1995 study revealed that 26 million Americans, that's 1 in 10, have a serious invisible disability. But only 7 million of those 26 million rely upon some kind of a crutch or a wheelchair or a cane to identify what it is they're struggling with. In other words, 74% of people with serious invisible disabilities do not have the luxury of a device that is recognized by other people that will help them to understand why these people act in ways that they don't comprehend. Think about that. It's staggering. It's a sobering fact, isn't it? And the rest of the story is as our population ages, the number of disabled increases. Now, I lost my eyesight to glaucoma, an insidious disease that slowly and silently robs you of your eyesight. And you can't tell what's going on. That's the scary part, but other people can see. I was at work when my boss, Steve, asked me into his office, and he said, Dave, there's something odd about your work, and I'm not the only one who has noticed it. I can't place a finger on it, but your work has gone downhill lately. Your accuracy is decreased. You're making some weird mistakes. What's going on? I looked at Steve and said, Steve, I haven't a clue what you're talking about. You see, unknown to me, glaucoma was taking bits and pieces away from my field of vision, effectively shrinking my field of vision, but in the background, my brain was filling in the gaps with whatever it thought that I would accept as reality, whether it was or not. What a mess. And I was the only one who couldn't see it. Now, I'll always admire Steve for his example of professionalism and compassion. He could have thrown me under the bus, but he didn't. Instead, he helped me find out what was wrong and supported me as I worked with my doctors to try to stop any further onset of glaucoma. You probably know someone with an invisible disability. It may be a friend, a family member, or a coworker. And chances are, each and every day, you will encounter someone with a serious invisible disability. And what will you do? Will you turn away in fear, or will you find the courage to show compassion? I'm asking you now, the next time you see someone acting extraordinary, if they're doing something or acting in a way that you don't understand, don't judge with your eyes. Listen with your ears. Show compassion. It's okay to be confused. It's okay to ask, what's going on? It's okay to show someone that you care about them.
Wow. Well, James, what did you think?
I thought it was an outstanding, inspirational speech. It was President Kennedy who said the only purpose for giving a speech is to change the world. And I think Dave's speech epitomized that quite beautifully tonight. One of the things that we're looking for in an inspirational speech is to connect with the audience's emotions, with our higher sense of nobility. And he touched on that, talking about compassion. And I loved where he talked about the invisible disability. It's easy to see if there's a cane or a guide dog or something like that, and then most of us are just automatically compassionate. But what if you don't see that outward symbol? Then what?
Right, right. He definitely challenged our beliefs on that. He definitely challenged our nobler motives.
Absolutely.
I think you did a great job. Would you say so?
Outstanding job.
Great. Well, I look forward to speaking with you more, but for now we need to take a break. You're watching Toastmaster Time, and we'll be right back.
Name an effective political leader in history who couldn't speak well.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
There aren't any.
Because when it comes to a disease,
Freedom requires leadership, and leadership requires oratory. You have to speak to be heard.
I have a dream.
It's all about personal growth and guts.
Never give in. Never, never, never.
Welcome back to Toastmaster Time, the show that has everybody talking. With us now is our second guest, Trich Gray. Trish, welcome back to the show.
Thanks. It's nice to be back again.
Trish, it's great to have you, and as some of us know, you're a Toastmaster Time veteran. We're always seeing you here doing a lot of behind-the-scenes work, but tonight I want to talk to you about the project that you're working on. Tell us why you chose this project.
I help sometimes with the Toastmasters Youth Leadership Program, where we take middle school and high school students, teaching them the art of public speaking. And we do that by teaching things like how to organize your speech. And last weekend, I had the opportunity to put together a speech to demonstrate to the students how to use their body to enhance their message.
Very nice. Well, Trish, it's super, super important what you're doing. I think it's great, and I know that everyone in our audience can appreciate that you're reaching out to youth. And I really look forward to hearing and seeing this speech. Are you ready to give it?
I am.
Okay, great. Well, we'll give you just a minute to get ready here, and while we're doing that, I'm going to talk with our audience at home a little bit about Toastmasters International. Okay. Toastmasters International is a worldwide organization. We're dedicated to helping our members enhance their leadership and their communication skills. Now, chances are you know a Toastmaster. I say that because we have almost 300,000 Toastmaster members in 14,000 clubs in 122 countries around the world. So if you're interested in improving your public speaking or your leadership skills, or both, definitely check out Toastmasters. Now, let's talk a little bit about Trish's objectives with our evaluator, James Jeffley. James, welcome back.
Thank you, Justin. Communications experts say that about 50% of what makes our communication truly effective is in our body language, our facial expressions, our gestures, our posture. So what we're looking for in Trish's speech tonight is all of those elements and how well she utilizes them in concert to communicate her message.
Wonderful. James, I'm looking forward to hearing your evaluation of Trish's speech. For now, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. Trich Gray, on a walk, Trich Gray.
Have you ever faced a difficult decision? I have. And when dealing with those difficult decisions, I'd be reminded of that poem by Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken. Are you familiar with this poem? It goes like this. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could, then chose the other, just as fair. Two roads diverged in the yellow wood, and I chose the path less traveled by. When I was young and facing difficult decisions, that poem would make me wonder, which road should I choose? But now that I'm old, experienced, when I hear that poem, it now makes me think it's time to go on a walk. Now, I didn't start by walking, no. I thought to be healthy, you needed to exercise. For me, that meant pumping iron in a gym and jogging on a treadmill. You know that old saying, no pain, no gain. That was my mantra. Well, that was fine when I was young, but now that I'm gracefully seasoned, I wanted something simpler. My friend Madonna suggested that I go for a walk. A walk? That's not exercise. Where's the pain you need for the gain? but I did some research. Did you know that walking just 30 minutes a day can decrease your chance of getting heart disease, adult onset diabetes, osteoporosis, breast cancer? Walking, it reduces your blood pressure, your body fat content, and your cholesterol. It's like a pharmacy in your legs. I couldn't wait to go on a walk. Madonna invited me to walk with her in the San Francisco East Bay Regional Park. Come on, Trish, it'll be fun. I thought, why not? After that first day, I knew why not, because walking in a park meant walking through the trees. And of course, the best views of the bay and the surrounding area are at the top of the hills. Did you know in the park they don't have elevators? The only way to the top is through your feet. After that first day, I felt the pain. But as my muscles unclenched, I was ready for my next adventure. My favorite park is in Fremont, California at Coyote Hills. Have you been there? Oh, you've got to check this place out. It has such a wide variety of trails and birds and animals. I never get bored. And it has such interesting people. On a walk, I met Marty. Marty was taking photos with a telephoto lens. He was very knowledgeable. He taught me the difference between a western yellowtail butterfly and a monarch. Now Marty, though, he kind of looked like Santa Claus with a white beard and a rounded belly. I think Marty did his walking through his telephoto lens. Now in a park, you get some people who like to walk their dog. Others like to ride their bicycle. The smart ones, they do both. On a walk, I met Wendy. She was riding a very unusual bicycle. It had a single standard wheel in the front, but 2 standard wheels in the back. And between those 2 wheels was a basket set low to the ground. And as Wendy was riding her bike, her 2 little dogs were trotting beside, their tiny little legs scurrying to keep up. When they got tired, they would hop into the basket, and they would sit up like princesses, surveying their realm. When they felt like it, they would hop back out and begin trotting, while Wendy pedaled on. I have to admit, there have been a couple of times when I wish that I fit into that basket. On a walk, going up the Red Hill Trail, I love to watch the red-tailed hawks. With their wings outstretched, they're floating on the currents. They don't have a care in the world. From the top of that hill, I'm watching those hawks, looking out towards the ocean into the setting sun. And I can see the sunset reflected in the waters of the bay in shades of red and yellow. And I think to myself, the setting sun! The park closes at sunset. I have to run. Oh, and that road not taken? Don't worry. You can always check it out the next time you go on a walk.
James, what did you think of Trish's speech?
A wonderful speech, Justin. We're looking for facial expressions. Hers were quite dynamic and alive. We're looking for gestures, and I really love the way she married her gestures and body language to the content of her speech. She really acted out what she was talking about, and the emotion, the excitement, all of that was present in her body language.
I definitely agree, and she added in a lot of humor in there.
Yes, very much so.
What was your favorite gesture that she made?
I really liked the part where she was talking about the little dogs and how she wanted to hop into the cart too.
Sure.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the telephoto lens she was talking about, and she said that she thought her new friend maybe did most of his walking through the telephoto lens.
That was good too.
That painted a great picture in my mind.
Exactly.
I think she used incredible body language. I definitely think she achieved the objectives. What do you think?
Outstanding. She certainly did. You want to paint a picture with words, but you also want to paint a picture with your body. And I think she did both of those at a very high level tonight.
Definitely. And like Trish said, she's wonderfully seasoned. I think that shone through in that we could really see how this speech could apply to so many other manual speeches. So many other. One I can think of in general, just off the top of my head, would be even visual aids almost. The way she used her gestures was so much so that she could have even very easily incorporated props and that sort of thing. What do you think?
Absolutely, but sometimes you may not have access to those kinds
Sure.
of props, so you get to make use of the most magnificent prop you have, your entire body.
Right.
And she demonstrated how to do that.
She did a great job. She talked about her muscles being sore and that sort of thing. I also thought she used great vocal variety.
Very good vocal variety. If you really want to improve your skills as a Toastmaster, you have to sort of take the cap off of what you think is possible. And Trish gave an excellent demonstration of that, not only with her body movement and facial expressions, but also with her vocal variety.
She had great vocal variety, especially when she signaled and she sort of drew us in and did her little whisper thing. And that's something that I've actually realized is sort of a skill to have, where you're giving that whispering tone, but you're still being audible.
Yes, exactly. Not everything has to be here, it has to be loud. Sometimes you can get your point across speaking in a whisper.
Right. And sometimes it even makes that point come across even better.
Yes.
It was a great speech. I really enjoyed it. I always love seeing Trish give speeches and that sort of thing. Like I said, we see her around here on the set doing behind the scenes. Even tonight, she was running around, getting things set up, helping with all that. We have an incredible crew here, and it's great to see someone like Trish who walks on both sides of the line there, which I think is one of the really unique things about Toastmaster Time, is that there are so many people in the crew who do so many different things.
Well, that's one of the other things you talked about earlier with as being an advantage of Toastmasters. Not only do we help people with their communication skills, we also help with leadership skills. And one of the parts of leadership is we sometimes have to wear many hats. And Trish demonstrates leadership in all of the different roles that she plays here and in her club.
Definitely. Trish is a great leader, and there's a great bunch of leaders here, I have to say. Now, with that, let's go to another break. You're watching Toastmaster Time, and we'll be right back.
Name an effective political leader in history who couldn't speak well.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
There aren't any.
Because when it comes to a disease,
Freedom requires leadership, and leadership requires oratory. You have to speak to be heard.
I have a dream.
It's all about personal growth and guts.
Never give in. Never.
Welcome back to Toastmaster Time, the show that has everybody talking. I'm your host, Justin Mendez, and with me is our evaluator, James Jeffley. James, we had an incredible show tonight. We had two great, I keep using this word seasoned, but they really were seasoned speakers. You could see it in every aspect of their delivery and every aspect of their presentations. They really took command of the stage. They got in front of the camera. They did their thing. They did an amazing job. What do you think?
I agree with you. And I think that's one of the advantages to, especially to new members, is when you come to a club and you see seasoned speakers like Dave and Trish, you get to see a glimpse into your future. Because within us, we all have the ability to improve our communication skills. And although we may not speak exactly like this person or that person, many of us have that untapped potential inside, and we don't know how great we can be until we get constant exposure to people like Dave and Trish.
I completely agree, and I was actually thinking about that on my way here. I was thinking how great it is. There are so many organizations that talk about how good you can be, but you find yourself asking, where are these people? Where are the ones who really exemplify the results that you're promising me? And Toastmasters is one of those places where you can go and you can see those results in real life. And it's like you said, where are you going? You want to see where you're going to be, and you want to realize how great you can be. And now I want to talk about how great you can be, because I know that you're representing our district in Kuala Lumpur at the International Toastmaster Convention. So tell us a little bit about that. I'm sure you're very excited.
I'm very excited, and it's a tremendous honor to represent District 57 at the International Speech Competition. There will be about 90 speakers from all around the world presenting their speeches, and I'm fortunate to be one of them.
I'm very much looking forward to taking a photo with you after this episode and taking a photo of you with the trophy when you come back.
Well, that's certainly a lovely idea, and I'm going there to do my very best.
I'm sure you will, and I'm very excited to have someone of your caliber representing a district that I'm in. Been great having you on the show.
My pleasure.
If you'd like to learn more about Toastmaster Time, you can visit our website, toastmastertime.com. For local information about Toastmasters, please visit d57tm.org, and to learn about Toastmasters International, you can visit their website at toastmasters.org. We're very, very grateful for our crew here in Palo Alto. We're filmed at the Media Center. I'd like to thank our guests, Dave Orris and Patricia Gray, and also our evaluator, James Jeffley. Have a great night, and keep talking.